Hey folks, this is Matt Rainwater here today, and let's do a process journal, okay? Today, we're just going to do some lettering. Technically, I've already done like the lettering part. We're going to make some word balloons. Keep it a little short. Just wanted to, excuse me. Just wanted to say hi. Let y'all know I'm still alive, doing well. Hope y'all are doing well too. Staying safe, staying healthy, doing what you need to do to take care of yourself and those around you. And let me plug in the keyboard real quick. I always forget to do that. Okay. So this is episode 54. I think this is 54. 54 or 55. One of those two. And I've already, like I was saying earlier, I've already laid out the text. I'm actually going to read over it real quick. Already laid out the text. I'm just going to be making the balloons here, which is basically to make these balloons, I take the pen tool. I don't believe I have it set to show you the tool type right now. I'll have to do that in a separate video. But taking the pen tool, and I'm making paths with this pen tool. Oops, not like that. That's the wrong one. Come on. Come on. And, is it? No, it's not the pen tool. It's the ellipsis tool. It's underneath the transparent arrow tool. I can only describe it to y'all right now because I can't show you the toolbar. So, like I said, I'm going to have to do that in a separate video next time. I did not prepare ahead and think about that. So, my apologies. I would like to ask, like, how are y'all doing? If you want to, feel free to leave a comment talking about what your scenario is, what's going on for you. What are some ways that you're keeping yourself busy during all the our quarantine situation? Any books you're reading, movies you're watching? Love to hear from y'all about that stuff. For myself, I've just been working pretty much. Making Trailer Park Warlock full steam ahead, and keeping keeping focused on that because when I get out of focus, I start to kind of, like yesterday. I kind of started freaking out a little bit, thinking about like, oh, what if, for some reason, I don't know, I lose my job, or what if for some reason, all the things that can go wrong. And I could list them off. I could list off such a big list of like food supplies run short. Electricity doesn't. We lose electricity for some reason. Internet goes out. um, Riots. Hey, there's all kinds of wacky things. I mean, I say wacky, but there's a lot of things that can go wrong, right? In this kind of situation. I don't know. It's hard to know if it's that bad. There's definitely a lot of panic right now, a lot of concern, a lot of just uncertainty. Um, and you know, not, it's not entirely unwarranted. Um, we got ourselves kind of a chaotic situation we're in, just globally, right? But I'm holding out on the notion that things will get better. Um, we're gonna figure out the world in general is going to figure out some workarounds to the situation. Certainly, this is my logic. Maybe I'm totally wrong about this, but it seems like, at least in terms of how people are working, in some ways, like not in every way, but in some ways, there's so much more remote work and work from home stuff that's going on in our day and age. Now, granted, that doesn't apply to service work for sure. A lot of restaurants going out of business right now are having to, stop their business. It's had a huge impact, right? But I think people are gonna figure out some stuff. Couldn't tell you what, I don't know, but I guess we made the internet for some reason, right? Other than just like making YouTube videos and web comics and video games and whatnot. They're all great, but we made the internet for reasons beyond just that, right? It's certainly an infrastructural tool and exists to enhance our ability to communicate with each other and to do things we otherwise wouldn't be able to do without it. So that's how I approach it. That's how I think about it. We certainly live in one of the better times to have to deal with a global pandemic, right? We could be in far worse times. Even 10 years ago, this would have been an even worse situation, I feel like. So, I don't know. I hold on to that as sort of a, what am I looking for? I'm looking for something, y'all. Distracted. I'm trying to change my brush because I want basic brushes. Right. Make sure got shape dynamics on. I don't know, for myself, one of the best things I can do in times of panic is to just look at the situation objectively and say, okay, where are we screwed? Where are we just, where is it just like difficult, challenging, outside of the norm? And looking at the situation, there's definitely the issue with people being able to go to work. And at least, in the United States, there's some attempts at basically funding relief for people who need it. I have a lot of thoughts about those attempts, and I think that it's going to help a lot of people, and I think there's going to be a lot of people. Oops, that's not. I just realized that. I think it's going to help some people, and there are some people who they're going to need more help, and we gotta, there's a certain amount of where it's going to take just the common everyday person to figure out how they can help people in their community, because government will do what it can, but let's be honest, like, I've grown up in Louisiana probably most of my life, with the exception of probably about 10 years of my life, and I'm 34, so it's about 24 years of my life I've lived in Louisiana. And Louisiana has, along with other states in the Gulf Coast, we get hit by hurricanes. They happen yearly. Like, almost once a year, there's some, at least statewide disaster that happens. And it's not the same as a pandemic, no. But it gives you sort of a notion of what it's like to live that kind of life. Now, granted, I lived most of my time in Lake Charles, Louisiana, and the whole time I've lived in Lake Charles, we only got hit by a hurricane once, and that was Rita in 2005, I think. And it wasn't that bad. I mean, it was like the gate to my mom's house kind of got blown. Didn't even get blown down. It just kind of got broken a little bit, I think, from what I remember. It wasn't super bad. The power went out, so like for a long time too, for like weeks. I want to say it was for a while, and so there was a lot of mold, and there was a lot of what else was there? There's a lot of limbs that had been knocked down from trees. A lot of wind damage for sure. Fortunately, there wasn't very much flooding, which is actually becoming more of a problem over time in Southwest Louisiana, as more and more people are building housing and all that kind of stuff. And the flooding seems kind of bad right now. So coastal erosion, possibly climate change, a lot of different factors going in there. But anyway, Rita was, for all intents and purposes, though, like a disaster where the city of Lake Charles basically the whole city was shut down. And for about at least it seemed like 2 weeks. And that's given me certain perspective on how to look at like living going from a normal everyday life to suddenly things have changed and there's a pause in how you live your life. Because during that time, I spent seemed like a week at my uncle's house over near New Orleans on the east side of Louisiana. And, it's like having your life uprooted. And Louisiana, or Lake Charles, only been hit by a hurricane once in my 24 years of living, in Lake Charles. But I've evacuated a lot. There have been a lot of times where it's like, we don't know how this is going to go. You need to get out of the city for right now. Or the town. It's not really a city. And that happens. If you live on the Gulf Coast, that happens. It's a reality that you have to live with. And so it's possible, with the whole COVID-19 situation, that there's a new reality we're going to all have to get used to. I don't know yet, though. I don't know if this is a singular event worldwide. Probably not, as the whole of humanity gets more and more involved with each other economically and politically and whatnot. There's just more people going back and forth. And because of that, there's also a lot of microbiomes going back and forth. And that's a new consequence of the world we live in. And we're going to have to figure out collectively, we're going to have to figure out how to deal with that. Because, I don't know, could you imagine if we had ourselves an annual or every other year situation where there's a global pandemic, almost like a hurricane. It's instead of globally, there's basically a hurricane level event where you can't evacuate. All you can do is go stay in your house and make sure you have rations to last yourself the month or months. Oof. Let's hope it doesn't get to that. But I'm just saying, it's something we might have to think about. It's something we might have to think about for the coming years until, I don't know, until there's some breakthrough in medicine to deal with this new challenge. Anyway, all right, I'm done with this page. I still have to put sound effects in these couple of panels, and then I'll be done with this page. But I think we're all done for today. I'm keeping it really short, of course, but like I said, I hope y'all are doing good. Hope y'all are safe and sound, and I'll see y'all again next week. All right, talk to y'all later. Bye.